Oh, sorry. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Christmas special with me, Bríd Heffernan.
Jay Kelly.
And Chris Bennett.
This evening we're discussing Christmas. Christmas is like porn. It looks great on screen, but it's hard to match up to. Jay, how do you feel about Christmas?
Look, I'll be honest with you, I think Christmas is empty as a drum. Looking at it this way, it's the season of caring, goodwill and a load of other cliches, along with the cliches of, you know, we've lost the true spirit of Christmas, it's all commercial. The reality of Christmas is that it's the one time of the year when we're kind of forced to care about other people. We get all the fucking guilt out of our system for being assholes for the rest of the year, and then right when it's over, we get into New Year, and much like our resolutions, there goes all the caring, and we go right back to being assholes.
You're a little bundle of joy, Jay.
You're a super Grinch.
I'm the mega Grinch. I'm the Incredible Hulk of Grinches, basically. But I'm also right. And quite honestly, I am. I mean, you look at it. How many times do you see people giving as much money to charity? And I know it's a good thing to do, but ultimately, why aren't we doing that the whole year round? I mean, why aren't we living these values the whole year round? Because we don't care. We don't care and we get out of our systems.
No, I completely disagree. Christmas is a fantastic period of time. I take your point, frankly. I do take your point that it's a time where people perhaps give more than they would all year round, but I'm not necessarily so sure that it's a time where they just get rid of all their guilt in one big moment. Christmas brings people together. Christmas is a fantastic time of year.
Okay, it does bring people together, but I mean, how well does that work out? Like, how often have you been at some sort of family event that ended up with complete drunkenness from the relatives, that ended up with like all sorts of family secrets coming out, all sorts of inappropriateness and just the awkward moment? And that's not even my problem with Christmas. I think that's a good thing. I think it's good to get all that shit out there. My problem is just the sheer hollowness and emptiness of it.
In fairness to Jay, a recent poll in our office suggested that 62% of people dislike having to spend Christmas Day with their families.
Well,
Chris.
they're absolutely wrong, for a start. The fact is that you say this poll says that 62% or whatever of our people don't like to be at families. I'm sorry, but Christmas is one of those times. It's one of the 364 days a year you can bugger off. You don't need to be with your family. Christmas gives people that chance to finally sit at home as a family together, bring in the uncles that you haven't seen for 10 years, bring in the cousins.
It's not that it gives you that chance. You have that chance all through the year. You're telling me that out of 364 other days in the year, you couldn't create the opportunity to bring everybody together. You probably could. People don't want to do it, but they're obligated to do it at Christmas. Christmas is this load of obligations.
If they're obligated to do it at Christmas...
Christmas is fascist.
If they're obligated to do it at Christmas, that's a good thing. If the fact is that you're saying that they could organise it the year round, some of these people, some families out there, couldn't organise it all year round. Some people live in different countries. Some people come to their home country for one specific reason. You do away with Christmas. You get rid of the whole thing. You lose that opportunity forever.
Jay, how would you feel about opening the pubs on Christmas Day?
Oh my God, that would be the best thing ever.
Do you think?
What, just for getting drunk?
Just think about the lonely people who have nowhere to go on Christmas Day.
Yeah,
not everyone has a perfect Coca-Cola family, Chris.
I agree. Not everyone does have a perfect Coca-Cola family, and I think, I sort of tag myself onto Jay's point here, that if everyone doesn't have a proper Coca-Cola family, we should be doing more to support those people year-round, so that when it comes to Christmas, there is that option, they have it there.
But we're not actually going to do more to support people year-round, because you can just do it all at Christmas. And also, this whole thing saying that, oh, if you did away with Christmas, then you do away with the opportunity to see family. What that actually says to me is that family isn't all that important if you won't make the opportunity, if you won't make the time, if you can't force it through. Certainly it facilitates this happening, but it also obligates people into it. And then you're obligated to say nice things, to get gifts. Jesus Christ, some of the fucking gifts that I've got down through the years. I mean, I know that like every day of your life is a gift, but some days are a pair of socks, and Christmas Day for me is always a pair of socks.
Whoa, hang on.
Maybe
Everybody needs
can
socks.
only afford a pair of socks.
Oh yeah, I mean some people can only afford a pair of socks, but I prefer if somebody took a cornflakes box, you know, cut it up, made some origami or made like a plane out of the cornflakes box. That would be cheaper than a pair of socks. No, I mean it's like the gifts themselves, and this isn't going into any kind of commercialism or railing against the money that's made. I don't care. Go forth, make money. But I just think the whole thing is so forced, so contrived, and so empty.
I think it actually comes from the media, this notion of the picture perfect family, which is obviously pushed by the corporates, that we all have a family to go home to, whereas in reality, not everybody has a family to go to. I mean, I look at when I worked in a hospital as a healthcare assistant, I always found people coming into A&E in the days up to Christmas, and the doctors and the nurses, they'd know there's nothing wrong with them, but they'd nearly let them stay. In fact, they would let them stay. They'd let them check in and let them be looked at and sit in a bed for a few days over Christmas, just so they wouldn't have to go home to a cold, empty house with no food. Also, I found in my work as a solicitor that we have clients, criminal clients, who would rather stay on bail or stay in jail for Christmas instead of coming out, because they save having to spend time with their family over Christmas by being in jail. I suggest if you want to make these criminals pay, you should make them have to spend Christmas Day with their families. Then maybe you'll reduce the rates of recidivism.
So you'd kick them out. You kick them all back onto the streets.
I'd send
You
them.
kick them out of
I would
prison.
kick them
What
out of
a
prison.
statement.
I'd make
What a
them
statement for a lawyer.
Get out of
I would
jail.
make them spend time with their families.
Yeah, well, to be honest
I think
with you,
that's a much worse
I
punishment
also have a
than
feeling though
prison
on that one.
for a lot of people.
I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. That would be a good punishment to make them stay with their families. Which, come on,
No,
Chris.
look.
No. Hang on. There's something else here
Oh,
as well.
come on then, please.
But let's be honest. I mean, the kids in these families, the families themselves, they're probably better off having, you know, Mad Mike, you know, in prison for the Christmas rather than like hanging around giving them a present of a knuckle sandwich.
Well, in fairness, you've got to look at the family backgrounds that a lot of criminals are coming from too. They don't have great families, and I mean, maybe if they had something better to go home to, they wouldn't be so happy to go back into jail.
Okay, look, some of you, like, I agree with some of your points. Some of your points are valid here, but what you're talking...
No, all of them are valid. Chris.
Not all
No,
of them.
all of
not
them,
all.
Chris.
Actually,
Well,
I'll
hang on a second, Breed.
And
Let me
all
just
your-
jump in on this.
You make some very intelligent ones, though. I will
You were
say.
talking about the minority here. You are talking about the minority. You talk about the people who don't have families to go to. You talk about the people who are out on the streets. You talk about this. You're talking about getting rid of the whole institution of Christmas. What about the majority out there, the larger majority, I would suggest, who feel that Christmas is a fantastic holiday, that's something good, something nice, something good to come to, that they look forward to the rest of the year?
Do you think that minority should just go away, go skiing, do something like that for the Christmas?
Do you mean the Scrooge Grinch minority?
Yes.
To which I am a proud member.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
Or
bugger
should
off somewhere else if you
Or
don't want to
should
like
they
it.
arrange orphan parties for the people who have
The
nowhere to go
orphan
to?
parties, actually, I think are a very good idea, and I have experience of the orphan parties myself. Basically, what an orphan party is, let's say you're a backpacker or an immigrant, you're in a different city, it could be Toronto, it could be Melbourne, whatever. Everybody gets together, loads of people that you've never met before, that you don't know, and you all come together and you all hang out. Now that's good, because you actually meet new people over Christmas. You meet people who you have something in common with, other than just some blood like your family. That is something, and that would make it different. But in terms of like going off, going skiing, doing that kind of a thing for Christmas, let's be honest, there's no escaping Christmas. Christmas is like the Gestapo in Germany. It's everywhere. There is no escaping the oppression. There is no escaping the uniforms, except this time the uniform is red.
But you know what? Why would you want to escape the uniform? It comes back to the point is that a lot of people get a lot of good out of Christmas. Why would you want to escape it? Christmas to me provides stability. For my idea of Christmas is the same programs are on, you eat the same meal, you're with your family, the same things happen every year. It's something to look forward to where you think no matter what's going on in my life, no matter how many bad things have happened, no matter how much shit I've seen, I've got Christmas and I know it's going to be the same every year and it's stable. Why can't we give people stability? What's wrong with that?
Chris, that's like institutionalization. That's conditioning. That's exactly what it...
Sometimes institutionalization is not a bad thing.
What? Like not being able to think for yourself and not questioning something? I mean, even people who may not agree with what I'm saying here, which I accept is virtually everybody, have to accept that there's a point there, that we're conditioned. We're even conditioned by the fact that we see the snowman every Christmas, you know, that we're walking in the air.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Because, speaking of the snowman, how do you feel about the same Christmas movies being played every year?
Love
the
it.
reliability of knowing that Home Alone and Die Hard is going to
Die
be on
Hard,
every
obviously
single
the
Christmas.
best Christmas movie out there.
Okay, that
Yeah,
is true.
you can argue
that is
against that.
there's
Can
no
argue
arguing
against
with that.
There's
That is
one
the best
pro
Christmas.
for
Actually,
Christmas.
the best Christmas movie of all time is Bad Santa. You want a good Christmas movie? Bad Santa with Billy Bob Thornton. Awesome. it sums up the spirit of what I'm
But
talking
you go back
about.
to it's back to the reliability thing again. The reliability of knowing what's coming up. I take your point about institutionalization, but I say 364 days of the year, I could be out there fucking skiing down a mountain in my underpants if I wanted to, breaking out of the mold. But for that one day, I'm quite happy to sit there and be institutionalized.
Do you not think the way Christmas is sold to us is going to make us all feel inadequate about how much we earn, how great our families are? Do you feel happy?
I feel happy at Christmas because, to be honest, I think there's a break here. If you watch all of these things and you take it all in, you think, right, I'm going to have a happy family and I'm going to have this wonderful life and all these great presents. Fine, you can be taken in by that. You can believe that if you want to. So the realist in me suggests, I'm not going to have all that, but I can still have a bloody good Christmas without it.
Look, I'm actually going to jump in on this one here because pointing up, let's say, we'll call it the Hollywood aspect of Christmas, yeah? There's something very dangerous in that. A movie I love, believe it or not, is It's a Wonderful Life with James Stewart.
Cracker.
But, and I mean, it's very much a movie about meaning, and it takes a kind of a dark aspect on Christmas and it highlights loneliness. But also, and this is the Hollywood side of it, all these movies, all these stories end with a happy ending. What happens for most people who are on the outside, who are kind of refugees from Christmas, well,
that doesn't end with a happy ending.
It does end with a happy ending.
It doesn't end with a happy ending.
What does it end with?
The bad guy at the end of that film, who's bankrupted his family entirely, still gets all his money, still goes off into the sunset.
But he doesn't kill himself. James Stewart doesn't kill himself.
Great,
this is
kill himself,
and he has his family. He realizes the value of all of that. So that is a happy ending. But the truth of the matter is, I would describe myself as a refugee from Christmas. You know, seeking asylum somewhere, anywhere. For most people who are on the outside of the whole Christmas experience, it's a case that you go through it and then at the end of it, everything's exactly the same. Things return to exactly the way they were. Even for the people who enjoy the Christmas, you know, it just all goes to exactly the same. It's just the same monotony and the same boredom. And I find that Christmases, you know, Christmases with or without family, and I've had both, that one way or the other, it's like Groundhog Day. It's like the same thing on a loop over and over and over again.
Someone actually commented on our Facebook page to say that Christmas changes for you when you start to have siblings that get children. When you're small, you love Christmas. When you grow up and your brothers and sisters are pains in the asses, you begin to hate Christmas. But then as brothers and sisters tend to get married and have children and things, kids come back into the house, the whole Santa thing starts again, and you re-love Christmas. That was a really good comment that was posted on our Facebook page earlier on. What do you think about that?
I think it's absolutely true. I mean, you know, I don't have brothers and sisters, but I think it's a true phenomenon that Christmas does change as you go on. As you move into adulthood, it takes on different roles. And I think, for me, personally, the idea is, and the constant, I suppose, is you can have Jay's perspective. You can be down on Christmas. You don't want to be with your family. That's
Excuse me, I'm realistic about Christmas.
No, you're
I'm putting out a very
side.
unpopular viewpoint about Christmas.
It's one side, though. At the end of the day, you're going to hate your family. If you hate your family on Christmas, you're probably going to hate your family the rest of the year round. At the end of the day, at least Christmas sort of brings you together and gives you that one sliver of hope that you might be able to find something nice about them.
I think it's an Irish thing as well. If you want to spend, doing the American, I love my family so much and we all get on like BFFs. It's so unrealistic for so many Irish people. We're much more likely to get together and all sit at a table and go, where's the dinner? Than, hey guys, we're together.
Well, see, in the UK, you've got games, you've got, you know, party things, you get your neighbours come round and they have mince pies and sherries and all of that kind of thing, and it's quite a community thing, certainly from my own experience.
It's still in the UK.
Still a community thing.
You would actually still say that it's very much a community kind of a thing?
I would say so, yeah.
And,
I would say,
but would
that's
you say
a great element.
Are you sure that isn't just in your community?
Is
that a widespread thing?
It might well be. I mean, I suppose it brings back to the thing that you've got more people going to church than ever, than any other day.
How's that a good thing? Quite seriously. I mean, people turning up at church one time in the year.
Well,
I mean, that just emphasises the sheer emptiness of the whole thing as well.
Well,
I mean, like, they'll go along one
got a very
time.
valid point.
Yeah,
It is
I mean,
empty.
it is.
It's false.
You know, well,
no, I think it's as empty
false,
as
and it's actually endorsing dishonesty.
You know what?
It's endorsing the falseness. It's endorsing the emptiness.
Christmas is as empty as you want to make it. It's so easy to take that perspective, to take the negative side of things, to be cynical about something, to say, I hate it. It is easy to be cynical about Christmas. We're sat here and we've debated it. It's easy to be cynical and it's easy to say these things. What's harder is to say it's empty and it's unfulfilled. but to actually put something in it, to fill that void, to find something, that little kernel that you actually like about Christmas, and to extrapolate that into something more.
I'd like to share what makes me lonely about Christmas with the world. I am a vegetarian, which means that last Christmas,
And therefore a fool.
I got a baby bowl with mashed potato, a Brussels sprout, and mashed carrot in it for Christmas. This isn't fair. So this is what I find lonely about Christmas.
So the one thing we found out about that is don't be a vegetarian on Christmas.
Well, it just makes everything worse, really, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, well, it certainly makes it less tasty, doesn't
So look,
it?
Breed, in terms of our argument, you know, where do we go from here? How do we actually change this? I mean,
Yes.
I don't think either of us are ever going to be reconciled on this point fully.
Okay, there is a minority. How do we fix it for the people who don't like Christmas?
I think, look, it really comes back to a basic thing, which is live and let live. You know, if people don't particularly get into the whole Christmas thing or have their own way of doing it, like an orphan's party or whatever, you know what, live and let live. You know, don't come along with the attitude of, oh, but it's Christmas. Fuck off.
And I suppose for my side of things is, you know what, if you like Christmas, you love the Christmas spirit, you need to actually put that out there and share it. And think in the back of your mind when you're walking down the street for the 364 days of the year. And
When you don't care about
When you
people.
don't care and you see that person on the street with his cup in his hand and he's not got his Santa hat on and his dog's not got the reindeer ears, you need to give that person some money. You need to, if you believe in the spirit of Christmas, that spirit needs to happen all year round.
So, in essence, carry the spirit of Christmas with you all year long. This is Breed, Chris and Jay saying Merry Christmas, world.